Oh, everybody's going off at 7.
Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome everybody to New Ambassadors Theater Company Friday Night Footlights number 7. Tonight we are doing a reading of Baby with the Bathwater by Christopher Durang, curated and directed by David Michael Kirby, who I'm going to throw the mic to, so to speak, so that he could tell you a little bit about it and introduce our very talented cast.
Thanks, David. Thanks. I'm really excited to do this. I've always been a fan of Durang, and Baby with the Bathwater is just a lot of fun. And I have great memories of studying this when I was in school. And I am delighted to bring you this cast of all New Ambassadors members. We have Marie Elena O'Brien. Wait, Marie Elena? She is playing, actually a few roles, and I'm going in order of what I see on my screen right now. So, she is playing the nanny, the woman in the park, who is Kate, and the principal. And then we have Andrew Griffin joining us from Texas tonight, who is playing the young man. Sitting together there, we have John Pena Griswold and Jennifer Downs, who are our husband and wife duo of the play, Helen and John. I'll let you all guess who is who. And finally, we have the luscious and lovely Priyanka Krishnan playing Cynthia, woman in the park, Angela, and Miss Pringle, and finally, Susan. Yours truly here will be reading your stage directions and one other mystery character in this. This play premiered in 1983, and so as you listen to this story and watch this story, you will hear some dated references, but I hope you will enjoy them as much as I do. Without further ado, I present the cast of Christopher Durang's Baby with the Bathwater. Act 1, Scene 1. The home of John and Helen, a couple in their late 20s or early 30s, standing over a bassinet.
Hello, baby. Hello.
It looks just like me.
Yes, it does. Smaller.
Well, yes.
And it looks just like me. It has my hair.
Yeah, it does.
I wonder if it would have been better off having your hair.
Your hair is lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, baby. Hello. Coo.
Coo. Come quat. Come quat.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. Daddy's little baked potato.
Don't call the child a baked potato.
It's a term of endearment.
It isn't. It's a food. No one wants to be called a baked potato.
Well, it doesn't speak English.
The various books say that you shouldn't presume your child can understand you. We don't want it to have problems in kindergarten or marriage because you called it a baked potato.
Seems to me you're losing your sense of humor.
I just don't want to make the child insane. That's all. Bringing up a child is a delicate thing.
All right. You're not a baked potato, sweet pea. And you're not a sweet pea either. You're a baby, a baby, baby.
I want a divorce.
What?
You heard me. I want a divorce.
Are you crazy? You've read the statistics on children from broken homes. Do you want to do that to our child?
I don't feel ready for marriage. I didn't when we got married. I should have said no.
But we love each other.
You have dark hair. I don't like men with dark hair. I like men with blonde hair, but I'm afraid of them. I'm not afraid of you. I hate you.
What? Is this postpartum depression?
Don't talk about postpartum depression. You know nothing about it. Men just don't understand things, do they, sweetie pie?
If I can't call it a potato, you can't call it a pie.
I didn't call it a pie.
You did. You said sweetie pie.
Sweetie pie is an expression. It isn't a pie. You don't go into a restaurant and order sweetie pie.
Why do you insist on winning every argument?
If I'm right, I'm right. It has nothing to do with winning. Men don't know how to argue. That's why they always end up hitting people.
I don't hit people.
Boys and men hit each other constantly. They attack one another on the street. They play football. They wrestle on television. They rape one another in prison. They rape women and children in back alleys. Beware of men, darling. Be glad you're not ever going to be a man.
That's an awful thing to say. And is it a girl? I thought it was a boy.
We don't know what sex it is. It's too young. The doctor said we could decide later.
You don't decide later. Gender is a fact. It's not a decision.
That's not what the doctor said to me. He said something about the DNA molecule. They're splitting it differently now. He said if the DNA combined one way, the child would have testosterone, and then we could either have it circumcised or not, depending, or else the DNA combines with estrogen, in which case it would be a girl. Or in some cases, the DNA combines with cobalt molecules, and then the child would be radioactive for 5,000 years, and we'd have to send it into orbit.
What are you talking about?
Can't you speak English? I'm married to an idiot. Your father is an idiot. Oh, God, please let me meet a blonde-haired man who's smarter than I am. Why don't you go away? I don't like you.
I don't understand. We were so happy yesterday.
What are you talking about? Happy? Who was happy?
We were making plans. The child's schooling, the playground we would take it to, whether to let it play with toy guns, how to toilet train it.
Oh, God, toilet training. I can't face it. We'll have to hire someone.
We don't have the money to hire someone.
Well, we'll have to earn the money.
But we can't earn money. I was let go from work.
Well, you can find another job.
I need to rest. I don't really feel able to work right now.
John, that's not practical.
I want to go to bed.
But John, okay, you wanted to be responsible. Don't you remember? Right after that week you stayed behind the refrigerator, you came to me and said, the immaturities of my youth are over now, Helen. Let's make a baby. And then we did. Do you remember?
I need professional help. I want to go to McLean in Massachusetts. That's the institution James Taylor was in for a time. He seemed so tranquil and calm when he gives his concerts, and he has a summer home in Martha's Vineyard. Maybe when the doctor says I'm well enough, I could go to Martha's Vineyard.
John, live up to your responsibilities. Oh God, it's crying. What should we do?
Sing to it.
There's no business like show business.
A
like
lullaby,
love.
sweetheart.
I don't know any lullabies.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna give you a big black eye.
Good heavens, those are not the lyrics.
I don't know, they're not. I can't remember the right ones.
Oh God, you're going to teach the baby all the wrong lyrics to everything. It's going to have trouble with its peer group.
Maybe we should hold it to stop it crying.
We might drop it. I had a cocktail for breakfast. I'm not steady.
Why did you have a cocktail?
You're always picking on me. I'm sorry I married you. I'm sorry I gave birth to baby. I wish I were back at this med school.
We love the baby.
How can we love the baby? It won't stop that noise. Shut up, baby. Shut up. Oh God, please help us. Please make the baby stop.
Enter Nanny, dressed in tweeds, wearing a ladylike hat and carrying a large cloth handbag.
Hello, I'm Nanny.
Oh, thank goodness you've come. Please make it stop crying.
Nanny goes over to Crib in high, soothing, if odd voice.
Hello, baby. Yes, it's Nanny. Yes, that's right. That's right, I've brought you a present.
Nanny takes out a jar, opens it. It's a trick jar and a large snake pops out. Baby screams in terror. John and Helen are fairly startled also. Nanny just laughs.
Oh, that surprised you, didn't it?
See here. Who are you?
Oh my God, it's crying again. Please make it stop crying.
What? I can't hear you. The child's making so much racket.
Please make it stop that awful noise.
Quiet, little baby. Be quiet.
No effect.
Shut up.
Baby is abruptly quiet. Nanny's pleased.
I think you've given it a heart attack.
No, it's just resting.
Oh, thank goodness it stopped.
Who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. No, I'm just making a joke. I get a list of all the new parents from the hospital and then I just descend upon them. Now I need Wednesday evenings off and I'm allergic to asparagus and lobster.
We never have lobster.
And I like chunky peanut butter better than the smooth kind, but if you already have the smooth kind, we'll finish that off before we buy a new jar.
I can't afford you.
And I don't do windows, and I don't do floors, and I don't do laundry, but I do make salmon salad and tuna salad and salad niçoise and a French salad and a chunky peanut butter sandwich. I do make my own yogurt in a great big vat.
You can't stay here.
But I need help. I can't cope by myself. Please, John.
But I'm on unemployment.
Well,
We'll just get you another job.
But what can I do?
Why don't you become an astronaut? That pays very well. Or a football player, or a newscaster. Wouldn't you like to see your daddy on television? Oh, wouldn't you like to see your daddy on television, baby? I think I scared it. Wake up!
Baby cries.
There, that's better.
please don't shout at it. It's not good for it.
Maybe I should hold it to comfort it.
That would be very responsible, John. That's a good boy. Good boy.
Thank you.
John holds the baby who stops crying.
John's been fired from his job, you see.
Well, that won't put food on the table.
I could get a job, I suppose, but what would I do?
Well, why don't you write a novel? The World According to Garp sold very well recently. Why don't you write something like that?
Oh, that's a good idea, but I need a pencil and paper.
Oh, well, here's $1. Now you go to the store and you buy yourself some paper and a nice felt tip pen.
Now?
No time like the present. Right, baby?
Oh, John, please put the baby down. I'm afraid one of us might drop it. I had a cocktail for breakfast and John took some NyQuil and Quaaludes.
I get tense.
Put the baby down, John. You're spoiling it.
Nanny takes baby from him, puts it in bassinet.
Now, what should we call it, do you think?
Well, John's father's name was John, and his mother's name was Joan, and my father's name was John, and my mother's name was Hillary, and my doctor's name is Dr. Arthur Hammerstein, but I really want a woman doctor who can understand me, but it's so hard to find a doctor.
Yes, but what about a name? A name?
Don't you get cross with me.
All right, we won't call the baby anything.
We could call it John after me if it's a boy and Helen after you if it's a girl.
No, I don't want to call it anything now. I'm going back to bed.
I thought you were going to buy paper and a pencil to start your novel.
I don't want to. I want to sleep.
I gave you $1.
I don't care.
Well, here's another $1. Go buy yourself an ice cream soda on the way home.
Oh, thank you, Nanny. Love you.
Helen hugs Nanny and runs off.
We're all going to have to be very kind to her. Don't depend on mommy, baby. She's not all there. So, what can I do for you?
I really haven't hired you yet, you know.
You want a quick one?
Pardon?
Us older girls have a few tricks up our sleeves, you know. I bet I know some things your wife doesn't know.
I don't know. I had a Quaalude this morning. I don't really feel up to anything.
It's very rude to turn me down. You might hurt my feelings.
Well, what about the baby?
The baby doesn't have to know anything about it. Now, we haven't much time. She's getting the paper and the pen and the ice cream soda.
Well, all right, but let's not do it here. I feel uncomfortable in front of the baby.
We could distract it. We could play loud music.
Hurt its eardrums. I feel I want to be a good father.
Well, of course you do. I have tiny little earplugs we could put in its ears.
Well, then what's the point of the loud music?
I don't know.
This is all getting too complicated.
Very well. Let's just do it in the kitchen. Come on.
She energetically drags John off into the kitchen. After a moment, the baby starts to cry. A young woman, rather sweet looking but dressed shabbily, enters the apartment. Her name is Cynthia. She appears to have wandered into the apartment for no apparent reason. She's very pregnant. She walks over to the bassinet and sings sweetly to the baby to comfort it. After a few lines of the song, the baby does stop crying. Cynthia keeps singing to it for a while. Her voice is pleasant and soothing.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a golden ring. And if that golden ring turns brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass. And if that looking glass gets broke, Mama's gonna buy you a billy goat.
Hums. Cynthia smiles that the baby has been comforted and, still humming, wanders back out of the apartment. Lights dim. Scene 2. Later that night, dark. Baby cries, voices saying, "Oh God." The lights come up. The couch has been opened up to make a bed. In the bed are Helen, Nanny, and John in nightgowns and pajamas. Nanny is sound asleep.
Baby, we're sleeping. Now go back to sleep. John, you talk to it.
Enough of the noise, little child. Daddy and mommy are sleeping.
Oh God, it won't stop. Nanny, wake up, Nanny.
Nanny!
They poke her.
Where am I? Help, help. Water to the right of me. Water to the left of me. Oh, to a Grecian urn.
Nanny, baby's calling you.
I'm sleepy.
Nanny, you're the nanny.
What about Tiger here?
Don't call me Tiger.
Tiger. Ruff, ruff. All right, baby, Nanny's coming. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. That's right. Wee, woo.
Nanny continues to make these odd, if soothing sounds softly through the next dialogue. Baby does stop crying.
Why did she call you Tiger?
I don't know. She's probably dreaming.
Oh, baby stopped. Thank goodness for Nanny. And her salad niçoise was so good for dinner.
Yes, it was. Helen, I think this is going to work out. I
What-
don't think this is going to work out.
What isn't?
Nanny,
I think it's working out fine.
I can't sleep 3 in a bed.
John, when we're rich, we'll buy a big house with an extra room for Nanny. Until then, this is fine.
Helen, I don't think Nanny is a good person.
I heard that.
Nanny, please, we're trying to have a private conversation.
Don't you talk behind my back. I'll hire a lawyer. We'll slap an injunction against you.
Please, you deal with the baby and let Helen and me figure this out.
I've finished comforting the baby. Go to sleep, baby.
Nanny tosses baby back into the bassinet.
Now, you say to my face that I'm not a good person.
Well, maybe that's too strong, but I think you're too rough with the baby. I mean, you just threw it into the bassinet.
Do you hear it crying?
No, but maybe it fainted or something.
It's just resting.
You keep saying that, but I think you have it fainting, and it has this look of panic on its face.
Look, don't tell me how to handle children. I got it down.
Nanny knows best, John, and she's helping me with my novel. She liked the first chapter, John.
I did. I thought it showed real promise.
And then when I sell my novel, if we get a good deal for the paperback rights, then we can buy a house in the country and maybe we can have another baby.
Helen, Nanny seduced me this afternoon when you were out buying paper.
That's a lie.
It's the truth. I was unfaithful to you, Helen. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to cope with this.
So you can see why I don't feel comfortable, all 3 of us in a bed.
I don't know how to cope.
I'm really sorry. It was Nanny's fault.
He raped me.
I didn't. That's a lie, Helen.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm going to work on my novel in the kitchen and I'm going to pretend that I live alone.
Well, things are in a fine mess.
You told her I didn't.
What we did was wrong.
Oh, for God's sakes, it didn't mean anything. It would have been fine if you hadn't told her.
I felt guilty. It's wrong to cheat on your wife.
You're such a dullard. There is no right or wrong. There's only fun.
That can't be true. I mean, there are certain things that are intrinsically wrong. And when we figure out what those things are, then we are said to have values.
Haven't you ever read the brothers Karamazov? Ivan realizes that because there's no God, everything is permitted.
I don't understand.
Everything is permitted.
Nanny hits John in the back of his head hard.
Why did you do that?
I felt like it. Everything is permitted.
Helen re-enters in raincoat and rain hat holding a sheaf of papers.
I'm taking my coat and the first chapter of my novel and the baby, and I'm leaving you.
Helen, I'm so sorry. It won't happen again.
You obviously prefer Nanny to me, and so as far as I'm concerned, you can just go to hell.
Oh, I love arguments.
Helen, we have to stay together for the baby.
No, I'm taking the baby and the novel, and you won't get any of the paperback rights at all. Goodbye.
The baby's asleep.
Or fainted, as you said. Nanny bats it around, so Mommy's going to save you now, sweetie pie.
I have rights to the baby too.
Baby will thank me later.
But where will you go at this hour?
We'll go to Marriott's Essex house.
Credit cards have been canceled.
All right, we'll sleep in the park. I don't care. I just have to leave here. Don't touch me.
But it's freezing out. Baby will catch pneumonia.
Well, I can't help it. You don't die from pneumonia.
But you do. You do die from pneumonia.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing.
Helen exits with the baby.
Helen!
Let her go. She'll be back in a few minutes. I know these hysterical mothers.
They're going to get very ill. It's very cold outside.
It's bad to fuss too much as a parent. Your child will grow up afraid. Let the baby discover some things for itself. You want a quick one?
What?
You heard me.
But it's wrong. Sexual infidelity is wrong.
Right, wrong. I don't know where you picked this stuff up. Didn't they teach you about Darwin in public school? The fish came out of the water covered with viscous substance, and then bones, and then vertebrae were evolved, and then male and female, and then the egg and the ovum, and the testicles and the semen, and the reproduction, and then dinosaurs, and maybe dinosaurs before that, and then local governments, and then the space program, and then nuclear power plants, and now cable television and home box office. Where do you find right and wrong and all that? Tell me.
Re-enter Helen, wet, with baby, wet.
I fell in a puddle. I'm all wet.
Well, if it isn't Nora 5 minutes after the end of A Doll's House.
I thought you were going to help me, and now all you do is pick on me.
Good God, the baby is soaking wet.
Of course it's wet. I told you I fell in a puddle.
Helen is the worst mother, isn't she, baby?
Don't you say that. John hit her for me.
Now enough of all this arguing. We're going to get the baby in some dry clothes, and Helen in some dry clothes, and we're going to take NyQuil and Quaaludes and get some sleep. And we will discuss all these problems in the morning. Is that clear?
Yes, John.
Yes, John.
Very well. Now no more talking.
John puts baby in bassinet and changes its clothes. Helen starts to take off her things, sneezing occasionally. Nanny exits, re-enters.
I've got the NyQuil.
Thank God.
You have its feet in the armholes.
That's the point, is that it's dry, right?
The point is to do things right.
You said no more talking. I want to go to sleep.
All right, but in the morning, we kill Nanny.
Nanny looks at John with suspicion.
Let's just have our NyQuil and not argue anymore.
Should we give baby NyQuil?
Oh, I don't know. What does it say on the label?
I don't know, I can't read the small print. I need glasses.
Well, if you can't read, then there's no solution, is there?
Why don't we just ask the baby? Do you want some NyQuil, honey? Do you? Huh? It won't say. It's just staring back at me hostilely.
Oh, why can't it be a happy baby? John, you've dressed it all wrong. It can barely move that way.
I'm going to sleep now. I don't want to hear any more complaints.
John, Helen, and Nanny get into bed.
Good night, everybody.
Night, Nanny.
Helen kisses Nanny.
I love you. I hate you.
Good night, Helen.
They lie down to sleep. After a moment, Cynthia enters. She goes to the bassinet.
Hello, baby. Hello.
The three in bed sit up and stare at her.
Who are you?
Hello. Oh, I'm just so upset. I'm very poor, and I gave birth in the hospital to a darling little boy or girl. And when I came home from the hospital, there's no heat in my apartment. There's no furniture, and there's my German Shepherd. And of course, I hadn't fed it in about a week since I went to the hospital. So I went out to buy some baby food and some dog food. But there's no furniture, so I left the baby on the floor. And when I came back, the dog had eaten the baby. And now I don't know what to do.
Have you told this story to the New York Post?
No,
Well, I'd start out by doing that.
I'm so tired now.
What is the matter with you? Why did you leave your baby on the floor?
Please don't yell at me. I don't have any furniture.
There, you poor thing. We'll get you another baby. You'll adopt.
Oh, but I'm not a fit mother.
Everyone's allowed one mistake.
Where's the dog?
I have it right outside in the hallway. Would you like to keep it?
She goes to the door. John springs up and blocks the door.
Don't you bring that dog in here.
Now, there's no reason to hold her stupidity against her dog. That's unfair. Of course, we want the dog. It sounds like a good watchdog.
Well, actually, it's always been vicious. But you see, normally I feed it. It's just that when I was in the hospital, they wouldn't let me leave.
Ugh, administrative red tape. It's really behind so much evil and suffering in this world.
I don't know. I think she's a terrible woman.
Oh, please. I feel so guilty. Don't hate me. I really just don't know any better. I didn't listen to anything they taught me in school. Something about equal sides of an isosceles triangle. And I don't have any furniture at home. And you have lovely furniture. Do you mind if I lie down and sleep for a moment? I'm really exhausted.
Poor
She
child.
lies down on the sofa bed and falls asleep immediately.
Poor child.
Why is she here? We don't
Where-
want her here.
Where is your charity? The poor child is going to have to live with her stupidity all the rest of her life. Maybe she'll even have to go to prison when the police hear of it all. Surely you wouldn't want to begrudge her one night's sleep of safety and peace.
Well, maybe not. But can we make her go in the morning?
We'll see. Come, John. Come to bed. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day.
Nanny, Helen, and John lie down next to the sleeping Cynthia. Lights dim. Scene 3. Sound of dog barking viciously. Baby crying lights up on the four of them in the sofa bed.
Someone make that noise stop.
Be quiet, baby.
Is baby barking?
Oh God, that dog. Hey, you. Wake up. Shut your dog up somehow.
Oh, I was just having such a pleasant dream.
Make your dog be quiet.
What dog?
The dog is barking.
Oh, yes. I hear it now. It must smell baby.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, don't be alarmed. It was just hungry. Do you have any red meat?
Maybe there's some red meat in the refrigerator.
Well, go give it some and then it'll stop barking. Don't let it get your hand, though.
John exits to kitchen.
Where did you get the dog?
Oh, some terrible people were beating it in the park and I felt sorry for it, so I asked them if I could have it.
And they gave it to you?
Yes, they beat me up for quite a while, 20 minutes it seemed, maybe it was shorter. It was hard to judge time that way. And then the dog and I crawled into my apartment and we've been together ever since.
John returns from the kitchen with package of chopped meat, goes into the hall to the barking dog. Barking gets worse, then ferocious eating noises occur. John comes back.
It took the meat.
Really loves meat. I'm a vegetarian myself. I tried to make the dog eat bean sprouts and broccoli once for a while. It didn't work out.
Someone should really change the baby. I think it's made a mess.
Oh, I don't want to. Let Nanny do it.
I'm sleeping.
Oh, I'll do it. I love babies.
He
I had
goes
the
to the
most
baby.
wonderful dream last night. I dreamt that I kidnapped your baby and that the dog, baby, and myself took a bus to Florida and had a wonderful time on the beach. I'm afraid we all got seriously sunburned in the dream, but I don't know if we died from it or not because then I woke up with the dog barking. Oh, your baby is so grumpy looking. What is the matter, baby? Don't you like me?
It's a very grouchy baby. We're not very happy with it.
No, I have a little toy it will like. The nurses gave it to me at the hospital. It's like,
Cynthia holds up a little red toy that jingles when she shakes it.
hey, it's a little red thingamajig. Isn't it cute? I don't think baby likes me. Why don't you like me, baby?
Why don't you read to it then? Baby loves to be read to.
Nanny exits to get into her nanny clothes.
Oh, all right.
John, you better get up and go look for work.
I just want to sleep. Leave me alone.
John hides under the pillow.
John, you have responsibilities. Look at me.
Okay, here's the book. Now, if I read it to you, will you promise to smile at me, baby?
Let's get a divorce. You wanted one yesterday. Let's get one now.
It's not practical now. Baby needs a father, and I need financial support until I finish my novel.
Chapter 7. Shortly after Mommy Dearest won her Oscar for Mildred Price, she would burst into Christopher's in my room at 3 a.m, screaming, "Fire drill! Fire drill!"
Helen, the novel idea is a pipe dream. Don't you know that?
It is not. Nanny said my first chapter was brilliant.
Well, not brilliant, perhaps, but quite commercial, I'd say.
Then she'd pour gasoline on the curtains and set them on fire while we'd scream and scream, "Ah! Ah!"
You can't write. You know that, right?
What do you know? I can too.
Nanny re-enters with Helen's still soggy sheaf of papers.
Read him your first chapter then. That'll show him.
I would try to untie Christopher from his bed, but Mommy wouldn't let me.
Chapter 1. I am born. I was born in a workhouse in London in 1853. My mother, whoever she may have been, had left me at the doorstep of a wealthy
Curtains,
named
Christopher's bed. He
Mrs.
cried aloud.
Squire.
"God in heaven, save me from
However,
Mommy." Then Mommy took a
traveling
fire
gypsies
extinguisher
came by
and
the
sprayed
Squire's
the
doorstep
curtain,
and
as well as
snatched me up
Christopher
and
and myself.
left me at the
And
window.
then, with tears
My
streaming
first
down her
conscious
cheek,
memory is
Mommy screamed,
Little
"Clean
Nell,
up your
the
rooms!
cobbler's daughter,
Bad
being
Christina,
run over
bad
by
Christopher!
a
Look at this
floor.
dirt!"
Will you be quiet?
I am
I am
reading to
trying
the.
to read my novel.
I
don't
am
care what
reading.
you're doing. You're a
Debate.
guest in this house.
Baby will grow up with no love of literature if you don't read to it.
It's my baby, and I'll raise it as I see fit.
No, it's my baby. I see that in my dream was a sign I should have it.
She snatches it up.
Give it back to me at once.
No, I won't. You are not fit parents. I know I'm guilty of negligence with my baby, but it was an honest mistake. And I love babies. You three are heartless. You don't hold a baby when it cries. You dress it wrong so it can move in its pajamas. You're both so inconsistent as people, changing from one mood to another, that you obviously make it crazy. And that's why it never smiles. I may be forgetful, but baby has a chance with me.
Give it back to me.
Don't
Helen towards her.
come near me or I'll throw it out the window.
Good Lord, she's insane.
Everyone stands very still. Cynthia starts to move slowly to the door.
Now, I'm going to leave here with baby and with the dog, and we are going to go to Florida, and you're not to follow us.
Now let the dream be a warning. Don't stay in the sun too long. Babies have light skin.
I know what I'm doing. Come on, baby. You'll be safe with me.
She runs out the door. The dog barks.
It's just you and me and baby.
Sound of dog barking, baby crying.
John, what should we do?
You could have another baby.
John, we have to go after her.
I need amphetamines.
John, we haven't time.
I told you we shouldn't have let her stay.
You said no such thing, and that's not the point now anyway. We've got to run after her.
We're not dressed.
Oh, you're impossible.
You're right. I'm coming.
Well, time to move on here, I think. I've done all I can do here. So I'll just pack. Oh. She forgot her little red toy. Oh, too bad. Caution, keep away from children. Contains lead, asbestos, and red dye number 2. Oh, well then I guess it isn't meant to be a child's toy after all. But what would it be meant as, I wonder? Maybe it is a toy, and the cautionary warning is satiric.
She tosses the toy into the bassinet.
Hard to tell. So many mysteries, but children can survive it all. They are sturdy creatures. They ebb and flow, children do. They have great resiliency. They abide and they endure.
Re-enter John and Helen holding baby. They are giddy with relief.
We got it.
Oh, did you?
Yes, the stupid girl ran right in front of a bus. It ran right over her.
Squashed her.
Oh, baby was just lucky and fell between the wheels.
Oh, that was lucky. Children are sturdy creatures. They ebb and flow.
The dog was still living, so John pushed it in front of an oncoming car, and now it's dead too.
The motorist was real angry, but it seemed too complicated to explain, so we just grabbed the baby and ran.
Thank goodness. Oh, baby looks so startled. It's been a busy day, hasn't it? Yes.
Nancy, Helen, Nanny, Helen, and I were just talking while we ran back here, and things are going to be different now. The immaturities of my youth are over, and I'm going to take the responsibility of being a father, and Helen is going to be a mother, and we're not letting any more crack pops into our home.
That's right, John.
And so, Nanny, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now. Helen and I both decided that you're insane.
When it cries, you hold it. You should feed it regularly. You should keep it clean. Be consistent with it. Don't coo 1 minute and then shout the next.
I'm giving up my career as a novelist to care for baby. And any resentment I feel, I won't ever show.
Well, that all sounds excellent. Goodbye, Helen. Goodbye, Tiger.
Goodbye, Nanny. We love you.
Goodbye.
Nanny smiles, waves, then exits.
Oh, John. I feel so lonely now.
We have each other and baby.
That's true. I wish I didn't have a baby and that I had written Scruples instead.
Well, I wish I were in McLean, but I thought we were going to be positive about things from now on.
You're right. I was just kidding. Let's be parents now. Hello, baby.
They put baby back into bassinet.
Hello. Baby looks so startled.
Well, of course, it's been a terrifying day. Baby had never even seen a bus before, let alone been under one. Don't worry, sweetie pie. Mommy will protect you from now on. She'll protect you from buses and from dogs and from crazy people and from everything and anything that goes bump in the night.
Bump, bump, bump.
That's right, John.
And Daddy loves you too, my little baked potato.
I told you not to call it a baked potato.
I'm sorry. Jesus, you mustn't raise your voice around the baby. You'll make it deaf or something.
I'm sorry. I feel better now.
Okay, well, we'll forget it. All over, baby. You're safe now, my little baby. No more shouting. Everything's fine. Do you smile for Daddy?
Or Mommy.
Can you smile for Mommy or Daddy? Here's a nice little red toy. Won't that make you smile? Huh? Want to make you smile? Smile, damn it, smile.
Smile, baby.
Smile.
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 Oh, John, look. It's smiling.
That's right, baby.
Oh. Do you think it's just pretending to smile to humor us?
Oh, I think it's too young for it to be that complicated.
Yes, but why would it smile at us when we just shouted at it?
I don't know. Maybe it's insane.
I wonder which it is. Insane or humoring us?
Look, it's still smiling. Maybe it likes the toy. Do you like the toy, baby? Here, you play with it a while, baby. It makes a funny noise, doesn't it? Dingle, tangle. Dingle, tangle.
The baby throws the toy out of the bassinet.
Oh, it doesn't like the toy.
What a fussy baby. Fussy baby. Fussy baby.
Oh, it's still smiling.
Fussy baby.
Fussy wussy wussy.
Fussy wussy wussy baby. Fussy wussy baby.
Lights dim. Act 2. Scene 1. A park bench. 3 women in park playground. The sounds of children playing. On the bench are Helen, the mother from the previous scenes. She is looking straight ahead, smoking a cigarette, and seems unhappy, hostile. Next to her, and presently not paying attention to her, are Angela, a sweet, drably dressed woman, and Kate, a bright, sharp-tongued woman with a scarf tied around her head. Angela and Kate are looking straight ahead, watching their children who are placed in their and our imagination, out in the audience. Kate is knitting.
Be careful, Billy.
That's your son?
Yes, Billy. He has my eyes and my mouth and his father's nose.
Oh, yes, I can see that. Of course, I've never seen your husband's nose, but he does have your mouth and eyes.
Don't hang upside down, Billy. You'll crack your head open. He's reckless, just like his Uncle Fred.
Oh, is that his favorite uncle?
No, he's never met Fred. Fred is dead. Is that your little girl?
Yes, Susie. Watch your head, Susie. It's such a full-time job looking after children.
Yes, it is. Susie's a pretty child. Is her father very handsome?
Yes, his whole family is very nice looking.
Oh, that's nice. Nobody in our family is particularly good looking, except for Fred, sort of, though you never know it from the way he ended up all squashed that way.
How did he die?
Part of the roller skating craze. He didn't know how, and he skated right under a crosstown bus. Be careful, Billy! I don't think there's such a thing as a homely child, do you? But I mean, Billy may well grow up to be quite homely, but I think right now he's very cute. And your daughter is downright pretty.
Thank you. Be careful of your face, Susie. Don't fall down on it.
I have a child too, you know.
What?
No one has asked me about my child.
Well, no one was talking to you.
Well, I'm a human being. I deserve courtesy.
Where is your child?
That's her, lying on the ground. Get up, Daisy. Stop acting like a lump.
What's the matter with her?
She's very depressed. She falls asleep all the time. You put her in a bathtub, she falls asleep. Put her on the toilet, she falls asleep. She's a depressing child. Get up, Daisy. Maybe one of the boys would poke her for me.
Maybe she has narcolepsy.
You get that from a venereal disease, don't you? You're trying to say something nasty about me, aren't you?
Narcolepsy is a disease when people fall asleep. You should take your daughter to a doctor.
All diseases are psychological. I'm not going to waste money on some dumb doctor who can't do anything about anything. She sleeps because she doesn't want to be awake. She has no joie de vivre. Get up, Daisy! Hey, you, boy, the one with the stick. Can you get my daughter up?
Billy, don't put that stick up there. That's nasty.
Why isn't she moving?
She's willful. Get up, you lump of clay. Tug her hair a little.
Billy, leave the little girl alone and go play in the jungle gym. I don't want you encouraging my son to pick on women. That's not a very good thing to teach.
Oh, she still hasn't moved. Maybe she's fainted?
She just does this to annoy me. It's very successful. You're very successful, Daisy. You're getting through. It's passive aggression. I do it with my husband. He says to me, "Did you make dinner?" I lie down on the rug and don't move. He says, "Get up." I don't move a muscle. He gets on top of me and starts to screw me. I pretend it isn't happening. So she gets it from me. Do as I say, not as I do, Daisy. I've told you that.
That's no way to bring up a child.
What do you know? Do you want a fat lip? Don't cross me. I could do something terrible to your child.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing. My bark's worse than my bite. Get up, Daisy. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. Sing. Sing.
It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two.
Did she move?
I think her arm twitched a little.
Oh, I bet she heard it. She loves that song. Don't you, Daisy? Well, I have to go home now. Goodbye. Get up, Daisy. We're going home. Mother can't stand the park another minute. Get up. Get up, damn you. Get up. All right, Daisy, I'll give you till 5, and then I'm going to step on your back. You listening? 1, 2, 3.
Get up, Daisy!
4, 4.5. 4 3/4. Oh, look, there she goes.
My God, she's running fast.
Oh, she's like that. Very inconsistent. 1 minute catatonic, the next minute she moves like a comet.
Oh my God, she's running right towards that bus.
Yes, she's always been drawn to buses. She's always running right out in front of them. Usually the driver stops in time.
My God, it's going to hit her.
Well, it'll probably be fine.
Kate and Angela watch horrified, then there's a shriek of brakes, and they relax, horrified but relieved.
My God.
We came so close.
This happens all the time. I get quite used to it. Oh my God, Daisy. Oh my God. She was almost killed. Oh God. Oh God. Daisy, I'm coming, darling. Don't move, honey. Mommy's coming.
Helen runs off, very upset.
Good grief.
Well, at least the child's safe.
Do you think we should do something?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Contact social welfare or something.
I don't know. Maybe it's not her child. Maybe she's only babysitting.
I don't think so.
I don't think we should get involved.
All right. We won't do anything about her. We'll wait until we read about the child dead in the newspaper.
I read about the child they found dismembered in garbage cans outside the 21 Club. CBS is going to make a TV movie about it.
I don't think television should exploit the sufferings of real people like that.
Yeah, but they've got all those hours of programming to do. They got to fill it up with something.
I suppose.
I wouldn't like to be a television executive. You have to deal with ideas all the time. You have to have ideas all the time. And then after a while, if people don't like your idea, they fire you.
This is really off point of what we should do about that poor child.
Yeah, I don't like to think about it.
Well, that won't help the child.
I don't like to concentrate on one thing for too long a period of time. It makes my brain hurt.
I don't think either the mother or the child are mentally well.
No, they're probably not. But who is nowadays? Everything is so outside our control. You know, chemical explosions in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Somebody killed Karen Silkwood. There are all these maniacs stalking Dolly Parton. The poor woman doesn't feel like singing anymore. John Hinckley, David Berkowitz, Ronald Reagan. It is so difficult to maintain joie de vivre in the face of such universal discouragement. I have to take a mood elevator.
She takes a pill.
I have this pharmacist friend. He gives me all sorts of things. I should be cheerful in a minute. Now.
Well, fine. We'll do nothing then. I look forward to the CBS movie about the child under the bus. Come on, Billy. We're going home. Billy, don't put that stick there. That's rude. Leave Susie alone. Billy, don't put that stick there either. That's very rude. No. Now put that back. I'm sorry. He's just at that age now.
Oh, that's all right. He probably meant it affectionately. I always think sex and affection are somehow connected, don't you?
Well, no, not really.
Oh, I do. People need affection, you know. Susie, come give mommy a hug!
Lights dim. Scene 2, back in the home of Helen and John. The room, though, is filled with many toys, some of them broken. There's also a pile of what seems to be laundry in clear audience view. 2 little legs with red sneakers are partially visible, sticking out of the laundry pile. John and Helen are talking.
Well, I'm very upset. That's all I can say.
I know, you've said that. You've said that. Get on with it.
I mean, I just don't think we're good parents.
Why do you say that? Did the bus run over the child? No. Did a bus run over her last week? No.
Why does she keep running to buses? What's the matter with her?
Nothing is the matter with her. She's just depressed. We have to cheer her up.
She crosses to the laundry and speaks to it.
Cheer up, Daisy. You're depressing us.
Why does she lie in that pile of laundry all the time? Do you think that's normal?
Daisy is just going through a phase. She thinks she's an inanimate object. She thinks she's a baked potato because of what you said to her when she was a baby. You're not a baked potato, sweet pea. You're mommy's little darling. Mommy loves you. Mommy doesn't mind that she's not a novelist or that she's stayed in a bad marriage just for your sake. She's willing to make that sacrifice. You see how unresponsive she is. It's enough to make you want to shake and bake her.
Helen, we can't talk about the child that way. Did you hear what you just said?
I was making a point, John. I'm not talking about actually cooking her. You have no sense of irony.
Sorry, folks, we're having a few technical difficulties. We will get back to you as soon as we work through them. Thank you for your patience. Looks like we're up, Jen and John.
Okay.
We're back.
You're back.
I'm going to take this back then. Okay.
Speaking of shake and bake, have you made dinner yet?
Have I made dinner yet? Well, now, let me see. I can't remember. You were at unemployment, and then I was at the playground, and then Daisy tried to run in front of a bus. Oh, now I remember all of these events. But as to dinner, I'm going to have to lie down and think.
She lies down on the floor and won't move.
Helen, don't do this again. You know what makes me furious. Helen, stop staring at the ceiling. Helen. Helen. God damn it.
John takes one of Daisy's toys, smashes it.
I smashed one of Daisy's toys, Helen. Do you want me to smash another one? Helen, get up. Look at me. All right. Helen, I'm going to smash another one of the toys. Good God, listen to me. What's happened to us? Helen, we're ruining this poor child. I'm going to take her and leave you. We've got to get away from you.
He goes to the pile of laundry.
Get up, Daisy. Daddy loves you. Daisy, get up. Daisy. Daisy. God damn it, Daisy, get up.
Starts to tie the laundry and Daisy into a manageable bundle.
Okay, Daisy, I'm just gonna have to carry you. Helen, I'm taking Daisy in the laundry and we're leaving you.
He slings the laundry over his shoulder.
And I don't know where we're going yet. We're going to get away, Helen. Can you hear me? Helen, I'm leaving you. Goodbye.
And you'll never get any of the paperback rights.
There aren't any paperback rights, Helen. You live in a fool's paradise. We're leaving now. I don't know where I'm going, but we're going somewhere. I just need a drink first, though. Where's the vodka? Helen? Helen!
He puts the laundry down.
Daisy, do you know where the vodka is? Daisy? Helen? Daisy? Helen? God damn it, I'm talking to you people. Are you deaf?
John sits on the floor.
How did I get in this position? Where's the vodka?
It's in the toy duck. Toy duck. Toy duck. Toy duck. Toy duck. Toy duck.
All right. Thank you.
John goes to the toy duck, reaches into it, takes out a bottle of vodka.
Why can't we have a liquor cabinet like normal people?
Takes a couple of big swallows from the bottle of vodka.
Want some, Helen? Daisy? Daisy? She's not a baked potato. She's a 20% cotton, 80% polyester pile of puka poo.
Puka poo. Puka poo. Toy duck. Toy duck. Polly Wally windbag. Polly Wally windbag. Me ma mo moo moo. Me me ma mo moo.
Oh, Helen, you're talking again. I'm sorry, I asked about dinner. Want a cocktail?
Thanks, I'm too tired.
Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna give you a big black eye.
John, those aren't the lyrics.
I know, I just don't know the lyrics. And if that big black eye turns purple, Mama's gonna give you a... What rhymes with purple?
I don't know. I'm not a rhyming dictionary. Ask Daisy.
Daisy, honey, what rhymes with purple? Daisy? Daisy, what rhymes with purple? Daisy. She says she doesn't know.
Well, at least she spoke today. That's something.
Yeah, that is something.
John drinks. Lights fade. Scene 3. A desk and chair. The principal is seated. She is dressed handsomely but looks somewhat severe. Into the intercom.
You can send Miss Pringle in now, Henry.
Enter Miss Pringle, a sympathetic-looking teacher.
I love having a male secretary. It makes it all worthwhile. Sharpen all the pencils, please, Henry. Then check the coffee pot. Hello, Miss Pringle. How are you?
I'm fine, Mrs. Willoughby, but I wanted to talk to you about Daisy Dinglebury.
Oh, yes, that peculiar child who's doing so well on the track team.
Yes, she runs very quickly, but I felt I should.
Wait a moment, would you? Oh, Henry, check if we have enough non-dairy creamer for the coffee, would you? Then I want you to go out. Buy my husband a birthday present for me. I don't have the time. Thank you, sweetie. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I'm very worried about Daisy. She's doing very well in track, and some days she does very well in her classes. And then some days she just stares. And then she's absent a lot.
Yes, yes, I see. Go on.
Well, it's her summer essay, you know, what I did last summer.
What did you do?
No. It's the topic of the essay, what you did last summer.
Mr. Willoughby and I went to the New Jersey seashore. He was brought up there. It brings back fond memories of his childhood, bouncing on his mother's knee, being hugged, being kissed. Henry, sweetie, I want you to buy my husband underwear, pink, the bikini kind, Calvin Klein or something like that, would you? Or you could use your Amen catalog if that wouldn't take too long. Mr. Willoughby is a medium. Thank you, Henry. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
About Daisy's essay.
What about it?
Well, I wanted to have a little.
Wait a
talk
moment,
with you.
would you? Henry, I mean, Mr. Willoughby is a medium size. I don't mean he holds seances. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. I don't think there was, but just in case, I am myself into black magic.
Takes out a black candle into the intercom.
Henry, I have a black candle and I'm thinking of you. Do you have a match?
No, I'm sorry. About Daisy's essay.
I'm all ears.
Well,
It is a figure of speech, as you can indeed see. I am a great deal more than just ears. I have a head, a neck, a trunk, a lower body, legs, and feet. I have legs and feet, Henry. I hope you're working quickly.
pay attention to me. Focus your mind on what I am saying. I do not have all day.
Yes, I'm sorry. I will. You're right. Oh, I admire strong women. I've always been afraid I might actually be a lesbian, but I've never had any opportunity to experiment with that side of myself. You're not interested, are you? You're single. Perhaps you are a lesbian.
I'm not a lesbian.
Neither
Thank
am I.
you. Anyway.
I just thought maybe I was. Henry, you don't think I'm a lesbian, do you? The intercom only works one way. It needs to be repaired. Of course, Henry's mute anyway.
Mrs. Willoughby, please put your hand over your mouth for a moment and don't say anything.
I'm all ears.
Good. Thank you. I was very disturbed by Daisy's essay and I want you to listen to it. What I Did for My Summer Vacation by Daisy Dinglebury. Dark, dank rags, wet, fetid towels, a large German shepherd, its innards splashed across the windshield of a car. Is this a memory? Is it a dream? I am trapped. How to escape? I tried to kill myself, but the buses always stop. Old people and children get discounts on buses, but still no one will ever kill me. How did I ever learn to speak? It's amazing. I'm a baked potato. I am a summer squash. I am a vegetable. I am an inanimate object who from time to time can run very quickly, but I am not really alive. Help, help, help. I am drowning. My lungs fill with the summer ocean, but still I do not die. This awful life goes on and on. Can no one rescue me? What do you think I should do?
I'd give her an A. I think it's very good. The style is good. It rambles a bit, but it's unexpected. Sort of like a intriguing combination of Donald Barthelme and Sesame Street and all that baked potato stuff. I liked it.
Yes. Don't you think the child needs help?
Well, I think a good editor would give her some pointers, granted, but I think she's a long way from publishing yet. I think she should stay in school, keep working on her essays. The school track team needs her. There's no one who runs as fast. I think this is all premature, Mrs. Prim.
I feel she should see the school psychologist.
I am the school psychologist.
What happened to Mrs. Byers?
I fired him. I thought a woman would be better suited for the job.
But do you have a degree in psychology?
I imagine I do. I can have Henry check for you if you insist. Are you sure you're not a lesbian? I think you're too forceful. It's unfeminine, and I think you're picking on this poor child. She shows signs of promising creativity, and the first you tried to force her into premature publishing, and now you want to send her to some awful head shrinker who will rob her of all her creativity in the name of some god-awful normalcy. Well, Miss Pringle, here's what I have to say to you. I will not let you rob Dee Dingleberry of her creativity. She will not see a psychologist as long as she is in this school, and you are hereby fired from your position as teacher in this school. Good day! Henry, come remove Miss Pringle bodily from my office, sweetie, would you?
No need to do that. I can see myself out. Let me just say, I think you are insane, and I am sorry you are in a position of power.
Yes, but I am in a position of power. Aren't I, Henry? Now get out here before I start to become violent.
I'm sorry you will not let me help this child.
Help this child? She may be the next Virginia Woolf or the next Sylvia Plath.
Dead, you mean?
Who cares if she's dead as long as she publishes? Now get out of here!
Blackout. Scene 4. A blank stage, a simple white spot. From a loudspeaker at the back of the auditorium, we hear a male voice, serious, sympathetic, in a detached, business-like manner. Come in, please. Enter a young man in a simple, modest dress. His haircut, shoes, and socks, though, are traditionally masculine. He looks out to the back of the auditorium to where the voice is originating from. The young man seems shy, polite, tentative. State your name, please.
Daisy,
How old are you?
I'm 17.
I wish I had gotten your case earlier. Why are you wearing a dress?
Oh, I'm sorry, am I? I didn't realize. I know I'm a boy, young man. It's just I was so used to wearing dresses for so long that some mornings I wake up and I just forget. I should really just clear all the dresses out of my closet.
Why did you used to wear dresses?
Young man, it's just I was so used to wearing dresses. Well, that's how my parents dressed me. They said that they didn't know what sex I was, but I had to be one of two, so they made a guess and they just guessed wrong.
Are your genitals in any way misleading?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think my parents ever really looked. They didn't want to intrude. It was a kind of politeness on their part. My mother is sort of delicate and my father rests a lot.
Did you think they acted out of politeness?
Well, probably. It all got straightened out eventually. When I was 11, I came across this medical book that had pictures in it, and I realized I looked more like a boy than a girl, but my mother had always wanted a girl or a bestseller, and I didn't want to disappoint her. But then, some days, I don't know what gets into me. I would just feel like striking out at them. So I'd wait until she was having one of her crying fits, and I'd look the book to her, and I was 12 now, and I said, "Have you ever seen this book? Are you totally insane? Why have you named me Daisy? Everyone else has always said I was a boy. What's the matter with you?" And she kept crying, and she said something about Judith Krantz and something about being out of a shake and baked chicken. And then she said, "I want to die." And then she said, "Perhaps you're a boy, but we don't want to jump to any hasty conclusions, so why don't we just wait? And we'd see if I menstruated or not." And I asked her what that word meant. She slapped me and washed my mouth out with soap. Then she apologized and hugged me and said that she was a bad mother. Then she washed her mouth out with soap. Then she tied me to the kitchen table and turned on all the gas jets and said it would be just a little while longer for the both of us. Then my father came home and turned off the gas jets and untied me. Then when he asked if dinner was ready, she lay on the kitchen floor and wouldn't move. And he said, "I guess not." And then he sort of crouched next to the refrigerator and tried to read a book. But I don't think he was really reading because he never turned to any of the pages. And then eventually, since nothing else seemed to be happening, I just went to bed.
How did you feel about this?
Well, I knew something was wrong with them, but then they meant well, and I felt that somewhere in all that, they actually cared for me. After all, she washed her mouth out with soap too, and he untied me, and so I forgave them because they meant well. I tried to understand them. I felt sorry for them. I considered suicide.
That's the end of the first session. Lights change. In view of the audience, Daisy removes his girl's clothing and changes into men's clothing, pants and a shirt, maybe a sweater. And as he changes, we hear the Hush Little Baby theme played rather quickly, as on a speeded up music box. The change should be as fast and as simple as possible. Lights come up and focus on Daisy again. This is your second session. How old are you?
I'm 19 now.
Why have you waited 2 years between your first and second sessions? And you never called to cancel them. I've been waiting here for 2 years.
I'm sorry. I should have called. I was just too depressed to get here. And I'm in college now, and I've owed this paper on Jonathan Swift and Gulliver's Travel for 1.5 years. I keep trying to write it, but I just have this terrible problem beginning it.
In problems of this sort, it's best to begin at the beginning, follow through to the middle, and continue on until the ending.
Well, I've tried that, but I don't seem to get very far. I'm still on the first sentence. Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels is a biting, bitter work that I keep getting stuck on that.
I see you're wearing men's clothing today.
I threw all of my dresses away and I'm going to change my name from Daisy. I'm considering Frances or Hillary or Marion.
Any other names?
Rocky.
Have you seen your parents lately?
I try not to. They call me and they cry and so on, but I hold the receiver away from my ear. And then I go next to the refrigerator and I crouch for several days.
How are you doing in school?
I'm not even sure I'm registered. It's not just the Jonathan Swift paper I owe. I owe a paper comparing a George Herbert poem with a Shakespeare sonnet. I owe a paper on characterization in the Canterbury Tales and an essay on the American character as seen in Henry James's Daisy Miller. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy. I'm half crazy. I'm half sick of shadows, said the Lady Shallot.
You sound like an English major.
Yes, I learned a certain love of literature from my parents. My mother is a writer. She is the author of the Cliff Notes to Scruples and Princess Daisy. And my father liked reading. When he was next to the refrigerator, he would often read. I like reading. I have this eerie dream, though, sometimes that I'm a baby in my crib and somebody is reading aloud to me from what I think is Mommy Dearest. And then this great big dog keeps snarling at me, and then this enormous truck or bus or something drops down from the sky and it kills me. Then I always wake up.
And that's the end of our second session. The lights change abruptly. From now on, these abrupt light changes, probably a center spot with side lighting that switches side to side on each change, will represent time passing and finding Daisy in the midst of other sessions.
Doctor, I'm so depressed. I can hardly talk on the phone. It's like I can only function 2 hours a day at maximum. I have this enormous desire to feel absolutely nothing.
That's the end of our third session.
You know, when I do get up, I sleep with people obsessively. I'm always checking people out on the street to see who I can sleep with.
Eventually, you'll get a lot of venereal diseases.
I know, I already have. It's just that during the sex, there's always 10 or 20 seconds during which I forget who I am and where I am. And then that's why I'm so obsessive. But it's ridiculous to spend hours and hours seeking sex just really in order to find those 10 or 20 seconds. It's time consuming. I mean, no wonder I never get that paper on Gulliver's Travels done.
Oh? You still haven't done that paper?
No, I've been a freshman for 5 years now. I'm never going to graduate. At registration every fall, people just laugh at me.
That's the end of our 53rd session. See you Tuesday.
I mean, it's the inconsistency I hate them most for. When 1 minute they're cooing and cuddling and feeding me NyQuil, and the next minute they're turning on the gas jets or lying on the floor or threatening to step on my back. How dare they treat me like that? What's the matter with them? I didn't ask to be brought into this world. If they didn't know how to raise a child, they should have gotten a dog or a kitten. Oh, they're more independent. Or a gerbil, but left me unborn.
That's the end of our 215th session.
I passed this couple on the street yesterday, and they said this 4-year-old walking between them, and the two parents were frightening. and you could just tell they were insane, and I wanted to snatch the child from them and
what?
I don't know, hurl it in front of a car, I guess. It was too late to save it, but at least it would be dead.
That's the end of our 377th session.
Look, I suppose my parents aren't actually evil, and maybe my plan of hiring a hit person to kill them is going too far. They're not evil, they're just disturbed. And they mean well, but meaning well is not enough.
How's your Gulliver's Travels paper going?
I'm too depressed.
I'm afraid I'm going to be on vacation next week.
I'm not happy with my present name.
I'll just be gone a week.
I wore a dress last week.
I won't be gone that long.
And I slept with 30 people.
I hope you enjoyed it.
And I can't be responsible for what I might do next week.
Please, I need a vacation.
All right. Take your stupid vacation. I just hope it rains.
You're trying to manipulate me.
Yes, but I mean well. I've been in therapy for 10 years now. I've been a college freshman for 6 years and a college sophomore for 4 years. The national defense loan I have taken to pay for this idiotic education will take me a lifetime to repay. I don't know. I just feel sort of, well, stuck.
Yes?
Oh. And I had another memory I'd forgotten. Something else my parents did to me. It was that period I stayed in the laundry pile.
Yes?
My mother had promised me I could have ice cream if I would just stand up for 10 minutes and not lie in the laundry. And then when I did stand up for 10 minutes, it turned out she had forgotten she was defrosting the refrigerator and the ice cream was all melted. I mean, it was so typical of her. She had a college education. Who could forget they were defrosting the refrigerator? I mean, don't you just hate her?
How old are you?
27.
Don't you think it's about time you let go of all of this?
What?
Don't you think you should move on with your life? Yes, your parents were impossible, but that's already happened. It's time to move on. Why don't you do your damn Gulliver's Travels paper? Why don't you decide on a name? My secretary has writer's cramp from changing your records from Rocky to Butch to Cain to Abel to Tootsie to Raincloud to Elizabeth the First to Elizabeth II to Panchita Pierce to Mary Baker Eddy. I mean, we know you had a rough start, but pull yourself together. You're smart. You have resources. You can't blame them forever. Move on with it. Daisy has listened to the above, embarrassed and uncomfortable, not certain how to respond.
Fuck you.
Blackout. Scene 5, the home of John and Helen. A big box with a bow on it. On top of it, a smaller box with a bow on it. A large banner that says, "Happy birthday, Panchita." John has 2 bottles of vodka. Helen is using a Vicks inhaler.
I love this aroma. It almost makes me wish I had a cold. Delicious. Oh, there are pleasurable things in life. Daisy, dear, are you almost ready? We want to see how you look in your present.
I thought his name was Panchita.
John, we've been telling you all day he called himself Panchita only for the month of March several years ago. He's been calling himself Charles Kuralt for the last several years, and now that he's turned 30, as a gift to me, He's decided to go back to the name of Daisy. Daisy, we're waiting for you.
Wish someone would have told me. I would have changed the banner.
The banner's a lovely gesture, John. We all appreciate it. No one gives a fuck what's on it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear. No one gives a shit what's on it. Daisy, dear, Mommy and Daddy want to see you in your present.
Enter Daisy wearing a Scottish kilt. He looks somewhat pained, but has decided to be polite and not make waves. He holds his pants.
Oh, do you like it, dear?
I'm not certain.
Now, it's not a dress. I want to make that very clear. It's a Scottish kilt. Scottish men wear them in the Highlands, and all that air is wonderful for your potency if you're wearing boxer shorts rather than those awful jockey shorts that destroys your semen. Isn't that so, John?
I wasn't listening.
That's right, you weren't listening. None of us were. All our heads were elsewhere. Your father's become a Christian Scientist, and we're all so pleased. Now, when he cuts himself, we don't even put a Band-Aid on him. We just watch him bleed.
Cut myself in this morning. Shaving. Nasty slice in the bottom of my foot. Between the vodka and the Dalmane and then the weight of the razor, I fell right over. Then trying to get back up, sliced my foot. Mother wouldn't let me put a Band-Aid on because she thinks I've become a Christian Scientist.
That's right. That's what I do think. Conchita, dear. I'm sorry. I mean, Daisy. You're so silent. Do you like your birthday present?
Did you give this to me because you thought I'd like it because you're insane? Or did you give it to me as a sort of a nasty barb to remind me that you dressed me as a girl the first 15 years of my life?
I gave it to you because I thought you'd like it. Because I'm insane. I'm insane because I stayed in a bad marriage and didn't do what I was supposed to do with my life. But I'm not bitter. And now that your father has become a Christian Scientist, I'm going to become a Jehovah's Witness and go to the supermarket forcing people to take copies of the Watchtower. Perhaps the Watchtower will publish me. Certainly somebody has to. Someday.
Your mother's going through a religious phase. Cocktails, anyone?
Your father calls drinking from a bottle a cocktail. It's sort of adorable, really. No, dear, but you have one. Oh, I'm enjoying life so much today, and you've turned 30, and that means I'm getting nearer to death and have wasted my youth. Oh, it cheers me up. Happy birthday, dear.
Helen kisses Daisy.
He hasn't opened up his other presents.
Yes, Daisy, dear. We have other presents. Here's one.
Daisy puts his pants down on the couch and opens a small box. It's a can, which, when opened, a large snake pops out of it, just as happened to Baby in first scene. Daisy is startled. Helen and John laugh in delight.
Daisy always loved surprises, and now open the bigger box.
Daisy opens bigger box. Nanny comes springing out of the box, shrieking, much like the snake did. Daisy falls over backwards.
Everybody sing!
Oh,
Happy
birthday, happy birthday,
Daisy dear.
Daisy dear. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Who is this?
I'm your Auntie Mame. No, just kidding. I'm the Antichrist. No, just kidding. I'm your Auntie Nanny.
Helen brings Daisy over to Nanny, who remains in the box.
This is Nanny. Don't you remember Nanny?
I remember something. God knows what. Why did you sing happy birthday to the wrong melody?
Well, Nanny told us that you have to pay a royalty to sing the real happy birthday melody. The selfish people who wrote the stupid melody don't have to lift a finger for the rest of us, for the rest of their fucking lives, while I have to sweat and slave over the clip notes to the Thornbirds. And all because your father has never been able to earn a living. Why don't you just keel over and die? Just kidding. I'm fine.
Hello, what pretty blue eyes you have. Coo. Shut up! Coming back to you, honey?
Slightly. I try not to remember too much. It doesn't get me anywhere.
Happy birthday to you.
Shush! There are spies from ASCAP everywhere.
It's so nice to see one of my babies grown up. And what a pretty dress. The plaid matches your eyes.
Not a dress, Nanny. It's a kilt.
Well, whatever it is, it's very becoming.
Happy birthday.
Please, John, please. We can't afford to pay the royalty.
There. Shut up!
Ellen looked startled that she and Nanny laugh and embrace.
Oh, my babies grow up so strong and healthy. I'm so pleased. What does baby do for a living?
He goes to college. He was a freshman for 6 years, and he's been in sophomore slump for 7 years.
13 years of college. Baby must be very smart.
He's been having trouble writing his freshman expository paper on Gulliver's Travels. How's that going, Rocky? I'm sorry, I mean Daisy.
I finished it. I thought I'd read it to you.
Oh, this will be a treat. John, are you still there? John? Daisy is going to read to us.
Oh, let me just put on my glasses.
Gulliver's Travels is a biting, bitter work that depresses me greatly.
Oh, I like it so far.
By the end of the book, Gulliver has come to agree with the king of Brobdingnag's assessment that mankind is the quote most pernicious race of little odious vermin that nature ever suffered to crawl upon the surface of the earth, unquote. At the end of the book, Gulliver rejects mankind and decides he prefers the company of horses to humans. We are meant to find Gulliver's disgust with humanity understandable, but also to see that he has by now gone mad. However, I find that I do not wish to write papers analyzing these things anymore, as I agree with Gulliver and find most of the world, including teachers, to be less worthwhile to speak to than horses. However, I don't like horses either, so I have decided after 13 years of schooling that I am not meant to go to college, and so I am withdrawing. Fuck your degree, I'm going to become a bus driver.
Oh, I think that's excellent. I think you'll get a very good grade. John, wasn't that good? And how interesting. You're going to become a bus driver. You've always been drawn to buses.
I love buses too. I adore all public transportation. The danger of derailing, the closeness of people, the smells, the dirt. I'm sort of like a bacteria. Wherever I am, I thrive.
I'm glad you like the paper. I should also tell you that I'm getting married.
Married? How fascinating. John, I feel like you're not participating in this conversation.
How do you spell dipsomaniac? I wonder.
John, you're too young to write your memoirs. Besides, I'm the writer in the family.
I wasn't really intending to get married, but she's pregnant.
Pregnant? How lovely.
DIP.
John, participate in your life now. This isn't a spelling bee. This is a parent-child discussion.
She's the 1,756th person I've slept with, although only the 877th woman.
This conversation is just so interesting. I don't know what to do with it.
I don't think I love her, but then I don't use that word, and I do think I like her, and Her getting pregnant just seems sort of a sign that we should go ahead and get married. That and the fact that I had taken her phone number.
SOM.
KEYMOUSC.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I think it's marvelous. Congratulations, Daisy.
Well, your father and I have lots of advice to give you. Don't give the baby NyQuil until it's about 3. We made a mistake with you.
I don't really wish to hear your advice.
Well, we listened to your awful paper. You can at least do us the courtesy of listening to whatever garbage we have to say.
Oh dear, here comes that owl again.
Oh, your father is having problems again. John, dear, try to spell delirium tremens. That's a fun word.
ZBX.
No, dear, that's way off. Oh, God, he's going to be spelling all night long now. He's impossible to talk to when he's spelling. But Daisy, you're here, and we'll talk, won't we? I've made you a delicious dinner. I've ordered up Chinese.
I don't really think I can stay for dinner.
But it's your birthday. I don't like Chinese food. What shall I do with it?
I hesitate to say.
Pardon?
I feel I must tell you that I've decided I don't think I should speak to your father for a few years and see if I become less angry.
Angry? Why are you angry?
Let me see if I can answer that. No, I don't think I can. Sorry. So thank you for the kilt, and I better be going.
Going.
Baby dear, let me give you some advice before you go. Get a lot of medical checkups. Aside from your promiscuity, your parents exposed you to lead, asbestos, and red dye number 2 from this little toy you had. Also, avoid acid rain, dioxin contamination, and any capsule tablets that might have cyanide in them. Try to avoid radiation and third-degree burns after the atomic explosions come. And finally, work on having a sense of humor. Medically, humor and laughter have been shown to physically help people cope with the tensions of modern life that can otherwise be internalized, leading to cancer, high blood pressure, and spastic colon. Well, it was very nice to see you. And best of luck in the future. And Helen, if you'll just mail me back to Eureka, California at your earliest convenience, I would much appreciate it.
Nanny disappears back into her box.
What toy was she talking about?
Oh, who knows? Nanny's memory is probably starting to go. She must be about 103 or so by now. Resilient woman.
DEL.
Oh, delirium. Better start, darling.
ERI.
Well, I must be going now.
Oh, stay a little longer, Daisy, dear.
Very well. Well, that's about it. I think I'll just give you this kilt back and I'll call you in a few years if I feel less hostile.
That would be lovely. Thank you, Daisy.
He gives her back the kilt. He picks up his trousers from the couch, but does not take the time to put them on. He just heads for the door. At the door, he stops and looks at his mother. She looks hurt and bewildered. He looks at her with regret and some awful combination of dislike and tenderness.
Goodbye.
Daisy leaves.
How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have an ungrateful child. John, what's that from?
DEL.
John, what's that from?
ERIMOUSE. There. What's Delirimouse?
God only knows, John.
John sees the kilt Helen is holding.
Oh, another kilt.
No, dear, Daisy gave it back. He said some very rude things and then he left.
Oh, maybe he was angry about the banner.
Yes, maybe that's it. Nonetheless, to err is human, to forgive, divine. What's that from?
Bartlett's famous quotations.
Oh, you're just useless. Nanny, what's that from? Also, how sharper than a serpent's tongue tooth? What's that from?
I have nothing more to say. Send me to the post office.
Send me to the post office. What an orderly life Nanny leads. Oh, I envy that.
Uh-oh. No.
They're low-flying little beasts, aren't they, John? John, I wonder if I'm too old to have another baby. We could try again. But perhaps you're not in the mood tonight. Well, we can talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and... John, what's that from? Nanny? One loses one's classics.
Lights dim. Scene 6. The bassinet from the first scene of the play in a spot. Daisy, dressed normally in men's clothing, enters with a young woman named Susan. Susan is pretty and soft and sympathetic. They stand over the bassinet.
Hello, baby. Hello. Oh, coo. Oh, it is such a cute baby. Isn't it amazing how immediately one loves them?
Yes, I guess so.
Say hello to the baby, Alexander.
Hello.
Alexander, you are so stiff. Be more friendly to the child.
Hello. Now, we do know it's sex, right?
Yes, it's a boy. Remember we sent out that card that said Alexander and Susan Nevsky are proud to announce the birth of their son, Alexander Nevsky Jr.?
Yes, I remember. I was just testing to check that you weren't insane and suddenly saying it was a girl.
No, I am not insane. Hello, Alexander Jr. How odd that you're called Alexander Nevsky. Do you have Russian ancestors?
No. Truthfully, I took the name myself. I like the musical score to the movie. I've always had trouble with names.
Well, it's a very nice name.
Baby starts to cry.
Oh my God, it's crying.
Oh dear, what should we do, I wonder?
I'm not certain.
Uh,
Probably we should hold it?
Susan picks the baby up.
Oh, instinctively, that feels right. There. It's all right. It's all right.
Baby stops crying.
Goodness, how did you do that?
Here, you try.
Susan hands him the baby. Daisy holds the baby rather awkwardly. The baby starts to cry.
He doesn't like me.
Well, bounce him a little.
Daisy does.
There.
Baby
Sing
stops
to him, why
crying.
don't you?
Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna give you a big black poodle.
Are those the lyrics?
I don't know the lyrics. And if that big black poodle should attack, Mama's gonna step on your little... Mama's gonna teach you to fight it back. And when baby's grown up, big and strong, baby can help Mama rewrite this song.
Oh, that's very sweet, Alexander.
Daisy looks at Susan, smiles a little, and they both sing to the baby.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Mama's
Mama's
gonna
gonna give you a big black poodle. And if that big
black
poodle should attack, Mama's gonna teach you to fight it back. And when baby grows up big and strong, baby can help Mama rewrite this song.
They continue humming to the baby as the lights dim to black and play.
Oh my God, that was so great. That was really wonderful, guys. Oh my God.
That was so fun.
Really well done. Wow. Who are we missing?
Bianca!
Oh, sorry. apologies. Shut up. I thought you must shut off your video or something. You must
So
not, really.
yeah, really, really fantastic. That was just absolutely wonderful. You guys were absolutely wonderful. We do have a few announcements. The first is that next week is for New Ambassadors Theater Company, we're doing our Theater Lab 25, which is May 22nd, Friday at 7 p.m. The featured playwrights are Jennifer Downs and John Griswold, David Adam Gill, Ruthie Rado, Mandy Murphy, and Brandon Roommaker.
Oh,
So come check us out. We're going to have scenes from 5 pieces, and it should be really amazing. Next, the week after that, Friday Night Footlights number 8 is going to be My Play Irregulars. And it's directed by Carla Briscoe, and it's featuring Kim Riley, Mark Hoffmeyer, Todd Butera, Sean Lee Phillips, John Pena Griswold, again. And that's it. And then we have,
me.
Oh, and John, and sorry, I wrote David Adam Gill. It's David Michael Kirby. I'm still wrapped up in what was a wonderful performance. Now we have some updates on The Great Escapism, Volume 2. John and Jennifer are going to talk about it.
Yeah, so submissions are open now to participate in The Great Escapism Volume 2. Volume 1 came out a week ago. Yeah, a week ago today. You can find it on anywhere where you get your podcasts. It's called The Great Escapism, Volume 1. And so we're taking scripts and submissions for actors now. So please send in your audio pieces.
Script should be in about the 5 to 15 minute range, but we're flexible.
Yeah. And you have it all today.
And Volume 1 was fantastic. It was really great. So that's it. We are done for this evening. Everyone enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend. It's sunny. Be careful when you go out into the world. Make sure that you stay safe and stay well. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.